Ralph Stanfield, once the most feared boss of the 28th gang, now sits slumped in his car, barely clinging to life after a brutal drive-by shooting in Johannesburg. Will he survive this ruthless attack from the underworld? In his world, crime and violence are a way of life. Countless cases have been linked to his name, painting a picture of a man deeply entrenched in the dark side of society. The downfall of Ralph Stanfield is a brutal reminder that even the most feared gang bosses can't outrun the chaos they create. Born on September 1st, 1979, in Beacon Valley, Mitchell's Plain, Stanfield's upbringing was marked by hardship. Raised by a single mother in a community plagued by poverty and gang violence, his environment shaped the trajectory of his life from an early age. The Cape Flats, notorious for its gang culture, provided a breeding ground for crime, and young Stanfield was soon drawn into its grasp. Gang affiliations were not just a choice, but often a means of survival in these neighborhoods, where allegiance to a particular group could determine one's fate. His family name carried weight in the underworld. His uncle, Colin Stanfield, was one of the most feared crime bosses in South Africa, who died of cancer in 2004. Also, he's the cousin of Salim John, a convicted 28th gang boss from Cape Town. This connection gave Ralph an early introduction to the mechanics of power, fear, and loyalty that governed the streets. It also provided him with an open path to join the 28th gang at a young age. The 28th gang, one of South Africa's most feared and structured criminal organizations, became the foundation of Stanfield's rise. The gang operates within a strict code governing both its prison-based hierarchy and its extensive street networks. While many see the 28s as a prison gang, their influence extends far beyond jail walls, controlling various criminal enterprises, including drug trafficking, extortion, and assassination contracts. The 28s gang has long been a dominant force in South Africa's prison system, operating under a rigid, hierarchical structure that extends its influence far beyond prison walls. Ralph Stanfield's alleged ascent within the gang coincided with the expansion of its activities into both organized crime networks and seemingly legitimate businesses. Nevertheless, he has been tied to various criminal activities, including extortion, drug trafficking, and murder. As the alleged leader of the 28th gang, he controlled a lucrative network that extorted local businesses, particularly in the construction industry, demanding hefty protection fees. However, his reign was soon to be threatened. On a quiet, sunny day in July 2017, the streets were shattered by gunfire as Ralph Stanfield became the latest target in a series of gangland attacks. At around 1 p.m., while driving his sleek white Audi R8, Stanfield came under heavy fire in a brazen drive-by shooting in Johannesburg. 14 bullets tore through his car, but despite the ambush, he fought to stay alive. Wearing a bulletproof vest, Stanfield managed to take control of the wheel and attempted to escape the attack. In a desperate bid to reach safety, he sped toward Morningside Mediclinic in Sandton. However, in his rush, he lost control of his 3.3 million South African Rand sports car, crashing into multiple vehicles before finally coming to a halt. Severely wounded, he still managed to make it to the hospital. Against all odds, he miraculously survived the attack. To this day, the motive behind the shooting has yet to be officially confirmed, despite rumors suggesting it could have originated from various corners of the criminal underworld. In the brutal world of organized crime, it's not just gang bosses who have targets on their backs. This became painfully clear when, 8 months before the attempted murder on Ralph Stanfield, his lawyer, Nuruddin Hassan, was assassinated outside his Lansdowne home. Many believed it was no random attack, but a calculated hit, one that sent a chilling message to anyone linked to the underworld. However, this would not be the last act of violence linked to his name. A Western Cape High Court judgment dated 15 September 2020 identified Ralph Stanfield as a gang boss based on the testimony of Detective Charles Kinnear. Kinnear, who was well acquainted with gangsterism in the Cape Town suburb of Bishop Lavis, stated that the dominant gang in the area was the 28s, led by Stanfield. Just 3 days after the judgment was issued, Kinnear was assassinated outside his home in Bishop Lavis. Due to these events, the suspects increasingly pointed towards Stanfield. He was also associated with the killing of Rashied Staggy, once the feared leader of the Hard Livings gang, who was shot dead in the Cape Town suburb of Salt River. He had spent years navigating the violent and treacherous underworld of Cape Town, but on this fateful night, his past caught up with him. As he sat in his vehicle near his home, gunmen emerged from the shadows. A hail of bullets shattered the silence, piercing the car and striking Staggy multiple times. The ambush was swift and ruthless, an execution carried out with brutal precision. He was rushed to Groote Schuur Hospital, but the damage was too severe. The man who had once ruled the streets was now dead, his life ending in the very violence that had defined it. According to a member of the Hard Livings gang, they suspected Stanfield of ordering Staggy's murder. Look, it's been 5 years now, and we always knew Ralph was behind it. We never retaliated because the family asked us not to. He added, "We don't understand why Ralph did it. He grew up in front of Rashid, almost like a young boy to him. And when Ralph was shot in Johannesburg, it was Rashid who went to him. We're not looking for revenge. We just want justice to take its course." For years, his name was linked to various crimes and murders. Yet, remarkably, he never faced sentencing. However, his long reign was soon about to come to an end. It was a quiet morning in September 2023 when Ralph Stanfield and his wife Nicole Johnson were arrested at their upscale Constantia home. The peaceful suburban streets were suddenly filled with the noise of police sirens as officers stormed the property. Ralph, still dull from sleep, was quickly apprehended, his face a mask of disbelief. Nicole, equally stunned, was pulled from the house in handcuffs. Initially, their arrest seemed tied to a simple car theft case. However, within weeks, the scope of their involvement deepened, unfolding into a sprawling web of serious criminal activity. The case quickly grew, drawing in new suspects like Denver Boyson, Johannes Abrahams, and Jose Brandt with a diverse criminal charges, including multiple murders and accusations linking the group to The Firm, a gang group with a strong 28's membership, and they therefore face charges under the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. The situation escalated rapidly as a total of 13 suspects were brought into the fray, turning the case into one of the most significant in the city. The apprehended criminals were facing over 30 criminal charges spanning murders, attempted murders, and the possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition. The group, now accused of being members of The Firm, appeared together in the Cape Town Magistrates Court for the first time. Tensions ran high as police stood guard around the courtroom, allowing only legal representatives and journalists to attend the proceedings. The court was packed with a growing sense of unease. Investigations intensified as the state brought charges against multiple members of the 28's gang for their alleged involvement in the 2023 murder of Wendy Klopp in Delft. The charges also included the attempted murder of Joel Boyson, the son of notorious gang leader Jerome Boyson. The peak of the story came in September 2024 when Ralph Stanfield was officially charged with the murder of Rashid Staggy. For the members of the Hard Livings gang, it was no secret. They had always believed that Stanfield was the one orchestrating the killing of their leader. Also, Ralph even drove 2 of his own family members to their graves, something that should have left an unbearable mark on his soul. You'd think it would haunt him, break him, make him question everything. And yet, if you looked into his eyes, you'd wonder if he felt anything at all. The first blow came on March 13th, 2023, when Simon Stanfield, a high-ranking member of the notorious Firm gang, was fatally shot in Delft, Cape Town. Simon's death was a shocking blow to the family, as he was not only a close relative, but also deeply involved in the high-stakes world of gang politics. His murder sent shockwaves through the community, leaving Ralph to grapple with the loss of a trusted family member in the violent world they navigated. But the final blow came on November 4th, 2023, when Ralph's cousin, Mogamat Noor Stanfield Stephanus, was shot and killed in Valhalla Park, Cape Town. The murder of Mogamat, a man who was both family and a key figure within the 28's, further plunged the Stanfield family into despair. With each passing tragedy, Ralph was reminded of the violent world he was tied to, where family ties could be severed in an instant by betrayal, retribution, and a never-ending thirst for power. Ralph Stanfield is still behind bars, awaiting his final verdict. His fate is yet to be determined as the court decision hangs in the balance. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.